Live on Your Sideline is sponsored by Sideline Stricker Nobi John Deere.
Well, week one of the high school football playoffs gave us some big-time highlights by some big-time teams. Now it's week two, and it's all about the matchups. I'm Corey Miller, and welcome into 5 on Your Sideline. And as they say, this is that time of year that separates the men from the boys, and we get to see who emerges from some legit slugfest in our area tonight. We'll kick it off with a big rivalry, Timberland against Holt, to win or go home, and it was all Timberland. Tank Billings, now that's a football player name if I've ever heard one. He gets the ball, and he knows where to go. Tiptoes the sideline. He gets in for 6. Timberwolves up. The Wolves brought it on defense, too. Look at the pack of Timberland players ready for that tackle in the backfield. Not going anywhere for Holt tonight. The offense, they do what they needed, led by Billings and A.J. Raines at quarterback. And Timberland pitches the playoff shutout. They win 21-0 over Holt to advance. Over to Marquette. Mustangs trying to fend off the upset-minded Seckman Jaguars. It's 21-7 at half. Marquette with the lead. Cole Rubel tries to get things going for Seckman, but he loses the football. It's recovered by Nick Miller, and the Mustangs tank over. They'd capitalize. Jack Albrand takes it in himself from 3 yards out, and the Mustang touchdown, 28-7 Marquette. Big fourth down late in the third for the Jaguars. Rubel keeps it, but the Mustang defense makes the stop. Seckman turns it over on downs. Marquette loves it. That's about how this thing would go. Marquette wins 42-14. They move on to the next round. Here's a heavyweight battle for you. DeSmet making the trip up to Troy to face Troy Buchanan in those windy conditions. You see it right there. DeSmet QB Christian Cotton, he's a bulldozer. He pounds his way into the end zone. That's a Spartan touchdown right there. And then he's going to break off another nice run. This one gets to about midfield. Ooh, he's tough to tackle. He's got some skills. Troy has some skills too, though. This is going to be a back-and-forth game all night long. Here's a huge play. Cam Casso picks off Cotton. He takes it all the way back for a pick six. This game actually had a lightning delay, so it's still going on. At last check, DeSmet had a slim lead over Troy. Vashon taking on the Parkway North Vikings, and they were hyped for this one. First snap of the game, North is going to fumble, and Vashon is going to be right there to pounce on it. And that's important because just a few plays later, the Wolverines are going to capitalize. Malleus Kane fakes the run, gets it out to De'Air Hill Jr. That's a name you should definitely remember going forward. He scores, and Vashon goes up. They weren't up for long, though. Quarren Williams says, I'll take this one myself, and I'll take it all the way to the house. Huge TD run for the Vikings, but it's Vashon who hangs on to win this game. They advance. They beat Parkway North 32-25. Over to Eureka, Wildcats facing Parkway West in this one. First quarter, Kevin Emanuel, you know that name if you've watched this show by now. He gets the carry. That's a 15-yard touchdown right there, 6-0 Wildcats. And guess who the next highlight is? It's Emanuel again, this time with a nice carry, gets into Longhorn territory. Man, he is tough to stop every single week. That's going to set him up at the start of the second quarter with this goal line score, another touchdown for Emanuel. Wildcats were up early, they were up late. They go on to win 32-7. They advance to the next round of the playoffs. All right, there's that man, Jeremiah Love. His CBC Cadets hosted Kirkwood in some downright blustery conditions there as well. Excuse me, some dueling interceptions. Kirkwood first. Nice pick from Tyler Macon. That closed out the first quarter. Then it's Lucas McAllister, a perfect interception for CBC in the end zone. He's going to hit a pose right here for good measure, too. Oh, you know, the crowd loves that one. And you knew this was coming. I showed Love earlier. The Notre Dame commit breaks off a big run. Kirkwood can't stop him. He goes all the way to the house, and CBC goes on to beat the Pioneers 41-3. They continue their quest to repeat.
Tackle Hunger is sponsored by Neighbors Credit Union. Here you belong.
It's not often that you get a chance for revenge in the same high school football season, but that's what our Game of the Week features tomorrow. 9-1 Highland hosting 7-3 Mascoutah in a conference rematch in Highland tomorrow at 2. Highland has the bragging rights from the regular season by quite a lot. The Bulldogs dominated the Indians 56-0 in the first matchup of the season, but now it's the playoffs and anything can happen. Highland is hoping to continue their dream season, and Mascoutah still has a sour taste in their mouths from what happened last time.
One last chance for us all to play together and make that state championship run. We've all been playing with each other since we're 5 years old, and there's no group of guys that I'd rather be playing with than this group I have right here.
Man, Highland's been getting after us for a while now, and we've been trying to turn that back around and make sure we're the top dog. So the atmosphere is definitely crazy. The fans go wild. They score. If we score, it's a great atmosphere, a great game. It's really competitive, so it's something you definitely look forward to.
That game's tomorrow, but the Tackle Hunger matchup went on all week. Let's check in on that weekly update. It was another great week for Tackle Hunger. Highland was able to collect the most food this week, donating nearly 1,000 pounds. For the year, Tackle Hunger has collected more than 40,000 pounds of food for Operation Food Search. Another big shout out to all of our Game of the Week schools who continue to step up for those in need. All right, let's check in on another team with state title dreams, the Francis Howell Vikings. The Vikes are undefeated this season, winning every game by at least 16 points. And this program as a whole is a well-oiled machine. They have 125 kids in the system right now, and it starts early.
I think it really starts in our feeder program. We got a tremendous feeder program that gets these kids bought into some of our philosophies and some of what we expect when these kids show up for us. And the Viking pride is something that just this community is, I compare it to a small town community in a big city.
All right, let's check in on those Vikings tonight. They went up against Francis Howell North in the second round, and they're moving on in dominant fashion, winning 56-12 tonight. And here is a look at some other scores from around the area. Summit, Zumwalt North, St. Dominic among the teams moving on to the next round. Well, up next, I'm going to introduce you to a 98-year-old woman I can almost guarantee is going to be your new favorite golfer. Stick around. Let's head out to the golf course for a moment. And they say one of the best things about golf is that you can play it your entire life. Well, Terry Jacoby may not have started playing until she was in her 40s, but 50 plus years later, she's still going strong. On Tuesdays, you'll find Terry Jacoby right here at Baldwin Golf Course. Tuesday is league day, and Terry doesn't miss league day.
Colder days or really hot days, we say, oh, we don't want to play. And then a lot of us think, well, Terry's going to be there, so we're going to be there.
There are no excuses from Terry. And oh yeah, when was she born again?
February 27, 24.
At 98, this former cadet program nurse in World War II has only been playing golf for the last 50 years, and she had a pretty clever reason to get started.
My husband loved to play so much. He would come home from work and go off and play golf and leave me stranded with the kids. So I decided I had to learn how to play golf too.
She was smart. She started playing so she could spend time with Dad and get out of the house and leave all the kids to my older sister Judy and I.
And yes, she has some skills, but always stays humble.
Lousy. I was always in the C group, but I just liked being out there.
But her weekly golf league outings are about far more than just hitting fairways and greens.
I just love all the girls so much. That's why I keep playing, because I want to see them and be with them.
She's kind, she's loving, she cares about all of us, and all of us care about her. I'm 62, and I hope I'm exactly like her when I'm 98.
Love that story. Well, for the first week in a while, both Missouri and Illinois fans may head into the weekend feeling at least okay about things. Mizzou is off a win over a top 5 program, and Illinois is ranked in the first college football playoff rankings. Those good feelings from a win over South Carolina may not last too long for Mizzou, though. They host a really tough Kentucky program, coming off a shellacking by #1 Tennessee. It's another 11 a.m. kickoff for this Mizzou team, and while Coach Drinkwitz may not mind the early start, he does know it can be tough for the fans.
It's a challenge for our fan base, and it's hard to get loosened up that early, in the morning. You don't probably want to crack your first beer till after 10:30. I get that, but everybody's got to make sacrifices. It takes what it takes.
How about 7-1 Illinois? They're already bowl eligible and clocked in at 16th in the first college football playoff rankings. How many of you had that at the beginning of the year? They'll face Michigan State tomorrow, and Coach Bielema says he plans on 16 just being the start of the Illini's climb.
I think what it's great for is the University of Illinois. I think it's great for our fan base. You know, hopefully it's just a start of where we're going to be ranked. It's a great part to be a part of, but by no means is it the end.
All right, you're going to want to stay with us all weekend on 5 on Your Side Sports, especially on Sunday. We've got a Chiefs-themed Sports Plus heading your way after the Chiefs play on Sunday Night Football. I'm heading to Arrowhead to take it all in, and we sit down with former Chief and Ram and St. Louis native Trent Green. That's Sunday night after the Chiefs take on the Titans. Score update, they did resume that DeSmet-Troy game. DeSmet ended up winning 32-17, huge win for the Spartans to move on to the next round. That'll do it for 5 on Your Sideline. I'm Corey Miller. Have a great night, St. Louis.
5 on Your Sideline was sponsored by Sideline Stricker Nobi John Deere.